Hello, everyone. Welcome to Ball Breakers. Follow us on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Stitcher. We have a very full stew today. It seems like this emergency stew may be our primary stew for the foreseeable future as we are back into our second stew. And we have 5 people with us. We will get to the 5th one in just a second, but I'm looking over at Earl. He's got a purple cotton ball of hair that I just want to lay in. And what's up, buddy?
Nothing, man. Just chilling. I got nothing really cool to say this week.
What was the inspiration for the purple hair?
I don't know. I just excuse me. I just like to dye it sometimes.
It looks good.
Thank you. Thanks, Chris.
It does look fluffy and soft.
It's not.
I don't like to dye it.
Well, like when you dye your hair, it's like real dead. So now it's like
Really?
Yeah. It just feels like maybe like straw or like hay sort of thing. But how are you doing since you want to butt in?
Yeah, what's up, Chris?
Well, I just wanted to tell you your hair looked nice, but I'm doing good. Everything's starting to open up in the world. It's a big time for us.
You know,
I'm excited to get back into the swing of normalcy.
I'm excited to see. I like the fact that in a very sharp angle, I can see you and Doc at the same time. For people who are watching the YouTube or who aren't watching the YouTube, we only have 4 mics, but we have 5 people. And Chris and Doc, the bromance is flaring up.
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm having a great day. I'm not used to this. I'm glad I'm next to Chris because if I would pick someone to be my bromance, it'd be Chris. But yeah, I got to get used to this. Sorry, Chris.
That's all right. We gotta just tap. I'll tap you if I want to talk.
Yeah. What's that thing called when like people are born like together?
Siamese twins.
Yeah. That's how that would be cool if that was us right now.
What's that? Easier. Is that movie Dumb and Dumber? Right? Are they? No. I'm thinking of a movie where they're Siamese twins.
You mean like we were like conjoined?
Yeah. Like legit, like conjoined together.
It's the movie with Matt Damon.
What's up,
Matt
Chris?
Damon or somebody else. I had to answer. Sorry.
Just so people are listening. It's Memorial Day weekend. We decided we know Memorial Day is a day where we remember veterans and gets high praise for the Army, the military, and anyone who's a veteran. And we have our good friend Christian Godshall on, who is a veteran for the Marines. You once were, right?
Yes, that is correct.
And What was the official debate? What movie was it?
I don't know. Someone with Matt Damon in it. Young Matt Damon. Sorry.
I'm gonna search it up because
definitely with Matt Damon.
Me.
What is even the movie referenced here?
Well, because you guys,
twins.
Doc was saying how you guys are conjoined twins and follow along, bro.
Listen, don't yell at me.
I wonder all the side effects from being Siamese twins. Like, do you know what the other person's thinking?
Stuck on You.
Yep.
Is it with Matt Damon?
It's with Matt Damon and Greg Kinnear.
I know my movies, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And
Is it a good movie?
Were they Siamese twins?
It's a pretty funny movie.
Actually, no. I don't think that they were together. They're not. They don't look joined.
No, they definitely are though.
Nah, they are.
They are.
It's like one.
Yeah.
It's like one scene where like Matt Damon's like having sex and like the other guy's just sitting through it. It's pretty funny. I recommend it.
The only other record I remember is Cat Dog. They were conjoined.
Yeah, but like nah.
All right, Godshall. You're part of the Bows, man. We got a big Bow segment. We chopped this week. We went 1-1. Quick update in our little Bow segment. And Godshall's been ripping the ball. He had a great week last week. Chris and Doc. Typical performances. You know, they got I think Chris went a little lower, popped out a little bit. It was raking the ball down the third base line, got caught right in the third baseman's mitt. I mean, ended up chopping, came back down 17 in the second game. That's something that the Bows can be proud of. But what's some highlights from this week?
When Christian threw his glove up in the air and then somehow the umpire called it fair. The ball was foul, but he threw his glove up and then he called it a home run.
Yeah.
What I just said honestly made zero sense. If somebody can put that into words for me.
The umpire was calling it foul as it was, but because Christian had interfered with it and threw his glove in the air, he started giving the little twirl for the go around sign,
saying that it was a home run.
Saying that it was a home run, and because Christian threw his glove, he ultimately costed us 3 runs.
Yeah, it's my fault we lost. I apologize.
Well, it made entirely zero sense.
It didn't.
And it still doesn't, and I still don't even know how that even... It doesn't make sense.
So what happened was, right, you're telling me, I didn't see the whole play. The ball was foul. But since Christian threw his glove in the air to try to stop the ball, he called it fair and called it a home run.
Mm-hmm. And I know that for a fact, too, because he told me the boundaries of foul and fair. And I said, Chris isn't going to be happy with this, but I said blue. Like, I said that ball was behind your foul boundary. He said, I don't care. He threw his glove in the air. That's a home run.
That still doesn't make any sense.
No, Chris wouldn't be mad. You don't. You address them as blue. You don't say the blue when you're like. If you told me the story, you said, "Oh, the blue called it foul." Like, no, that's not what you say.
You say the umpire. But if you're speaking to him, yo, blue, then that's how you...
So if I'm speaking to him, I'm allowed to say blue.
Yes. That's like what that's usually what you call the umpire. I mean, you could say yo ump, but like you just say yo blue to get the umpire's attention.
Once it becomes third person, like it's not like one-on-one conversation.
Yeah, you would never say yo the blue stunk at calling the game the other day. You say the umpire.
All right. I'm working on it. I mean,
you'll get used to it. It's really not that hard, and you'll get used to it, I promise.
It's a hard tick for me. I constantly get stuck saying the blue, but yeah, that's what
that's the worst thing that you could do.
That's for people like that didn't cost us the game. For anyone who doesn't know about softball or baseball, it was just a couple runs in the inning that we let up 17 runs.
It was one inning, the first inning.
It was the first inning, and then we lost 25-24. Great comeback, a lot of resilience, but there was just so much to talk about that game that we're just ready to get after it next week.
Well, we're off this coming week.
Mm-hmm. Big off week. What are you doing? What are you doing this weekend, Gotti?
Me, I have no idea what I'm doing, honestly.
Really?
Nothing.
Do you guys have do you guys feel like it's traditional plans every year? Just like you're going down the shore, but you're not sure for what occasion,
or like what even is actually going to go on. Kind of just go down and figure it out from there.
What do you think happens in central states with no beaches? What's there?
Lakes. Bunch
Is it
of
lakes?
Yeah, that's what I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I might be wrong.
Some big barbecues, maybe down at the lake, like Christian's saying. You ever see Grown Ups?
Yeah, just like that.
I want one of those, like beach or log cabins,
like a lake house.
A lake. Yeah, I like nostalgic, like old school type things to where that house just gave me a feeling of, all right, you have to go outside and figure out something to do. And they just started hiking, and then Kevin James almost like died falling down the hill. But like, yeah, that lake house was awesome.
So you spent a lot of time in North Carolina, right?
Yeah,
Jacksonville.
I was stationed in North Carolina for 4 years.
Well, wait. Before we get into that,
we're going right into it. All right.
Let's just.
I was just because we were saying states that aren't. Well, do they have beaches? Am I crazy?
Yeah,
they do.
Yeah, Atlantic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Atlantic's right on there.
Well,
so
it's not a middle state.
So before we talk about where Christian, for everyone who's listening, he's Christian and also Gotti. So if you guys will probably hear us address him as both Godshall, Christian, Gotti, whatever the case.
Cutie.
The reason we brought him on, like Rocco said, we wanted to appreciate a veteran. So let's just kind of get into the meat and potatoes here. Like, how did you?
Where did it start?
Yeah, when did you decide that you?
When I decided like I want to join the military.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's like funny and it's probably stupid at the same time. So when I was younger, I used to love war movies. Like big fan of war movies. I like picture myself. All right, so Saving Private Ryan. That's like my favorite movie. I just pictured myself as Tom Hanks in that movie.
How young? How young we talking?
I think like 9, 10.
Okay.
So after that, I didn't know what to join. Then I had like my stepfather was like, if you want to be the best, join the Marine Corps, because I was always just taught like, if you want to be the best, like Marine Corps, it's like the way it's at. So I was like, all right. Like I knew nothing about the Marine Corps. Didn't watch really much movies about the Marine Corps. So I was just like, all right, I'm just going to join the Marines, and I stuck with that since high school.
That was one of the things I wanted to know, is if there was any decision-making process with like Coast Guard, military, or Navy, excuse me.
Yeah, none at all. Just I knew Marine Corps was like the way to go.
That was the whole time?
Whole time.
That's pretty cool, though.
How much of it
to do?
How much of it is like movie-esque of like boot camp and like what you see?
None at all from my experience.
Really?
So the only thing close was Jarhead. You guys ever seen it?
Mm-mm.
It's a pretty gruesome
Never
movie, isn't
seen
it?
Jarhead?
Okay, give a little background of the scene or like of the movie
For
just
what-
for
like
the
what I'm
people
talking
listening.
about?
Yeah.
Doesn't that open up with him just having sex with a girl in his
Yeah.
room, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't like any part of mine.
Well, if anyone is thinking like maybe I know that movie, well, that's the opening.
That's
scene.
the opening scene, yeah. So he like there's a scene where he's crawling through mud under barbed wire, and the guy's shooting a machine gun. You guys remember that scene? Well, the guy's shooting it. That never happens at all. That never happened because in my time, because they used to do that, but people were actually getting scared and jumping up and dying, so they like canceled that.
Oh my god.
So that was like a scene from boot camp that was in the movie that I'd never experienced at all.
Okay, but is it? I would imagine it's very, very. Is it as strict as it seems?
So it's hard because you've never seen the movie, but there's a scene where he's yelling at the drill instructor, or the drill instructor's yelling at him, and the guy like grabs his head and like smashes it to a chalkboard.
Mm-hmm.
They're very like physical on you. Like I got stabbed by a pen in the neck and I was bleeding.
Really?
Yeah, trickling down
When was this?
in boot camp.
That makes me. I don't think it's funny that it happened to you, but I think it's funny.
It's pretty funny.
If you guys ever watched
After it happened.
have you ever watched 30 Seconds or Less? And
Yeah.
and the guy breaks into his house, right? He stabs him or he shoots him with a pen or whatever the case. But that's like I don't know why that makes me think of that.
No, I've never seen that.
So they like legit can physically just touch you, hit you, throw you against the freaking chalkboard.
So I was like at the borderline. So like when I was in, it was like borderline. Like they can and they cannot. Like after me, like right now, it's probably you can't touch them at all.
Oh, so these rules have been adapted pretty frequently. Okay.
but
so-
verbally, I hear they can.
Oh, they
say
can
whatever the
they
hell
can
they
say
want.
whatever
Yeah.
they want.
Mhm.
They want you to quit.
Now, what was the next step after boot camp? Was that deployment or?
All right, so
Well, wait. What
Yeah,
about
well-
like when you were So you decided when you were like 9 or 10 years old, and you knew you wanted to do that. Like, did you do like ROTC or like junior
So-
ROTC or something like that?
when my stepfather was in my life, we talked about that, but it seemed like
What's ROTC?
I don't know what it stands for, but it's like
I don't know what it stands for either.
Okay.
it's like
Rotary something.
it's like a program
Nah.
you join in high school and they prep you.
It's I know
prep
Highland
you
has that
for
now. If no one knows.
They
Oh,
prep you for it.
Around us, I know the only high school that was offering it when we were in school was Sterling.
Yeah, I think that's where I
Yeah.
saw that. Yeah,
They're all offering it now. It's kind of crazy.
And it's just like a little like.
it's like how they prep you.
Okay.
It is
Like-
stands for Reserve Officers Training Corps.
Okay.
So I usually like junior ROTC is like you do it when you're I guess in high school or even before high school, so that way when you're ready to go, you're just pretty much trained already. But you still have to go to basic, I think, if you do ROTC, right?
I'm not. Yeah, I would assume so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
And what was it? What? So did you go to ROTC or you skipped
no,
it?
I did not. Yeah, I
Okay.
didn't do any of that.
And then what was after that?
So, I mean, from high school, I actually didn't even take my SATs because I knew I was just going to join the Marine Corps.
And I remember that in high school.
My
too,
mom
for
was
as
like
long as
yelling
I
at
knew
me.
you.
She was like, "You're going to take it." And I was like, "That's stupid. Why would I take that? Because I'm not going to go to college at all." And
then
I
that's
just joined the Marine Corps.
and that's when the boot camp started, and
Yeah.
then what happened after boot camp?
Yeah, I remember at graduation you had the whole regalia on. Was that or no? There was a guy with you.
Yeah, that was
You're
my
a recruiter.
recruiter. I
Okay.
had 3 different recruiters because they all just got stationed somewhere.
And how
else.
did you meet up with them?
with the recruiter?
Yeah. Did you just like
I
fill the
actually-
form out online?
Yeah,
and-
so I actually did. I was actually too young to sign up at the time, so I just emailed them like, "Hey, like I'm willing to," and they called me like the next day because they're like they love when people.
They're
just-
sharks.
They
Yeah,
are.
they're
They're sharks. They don't care. So I emailed them, and they called me the next day. I met with the guy, and he was like, "Yeah, you're too young for right now. You have to wait until you're 18 to sign by myself." But I had my mom and dad sign for me, and then I joined. I think it was like my senior year. I joined. Officially, I signed for the Marine Corps.
Now the senior year, you join, you begin the training.
Yeah, I went.
After the training, you're still gung ho about it.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
You remember me? No, I don't think you remember me after boot camp. Is that what you're talking about?
It's Godshall. Truthfully, everything after like high school kind of blends into like I forget which year happened. So I don't know. I don't remember you coming home specifically after boot camp and talking about it. But when was that?
But-
Is that
That was like
I know.
2016, right? At this point.
It was 20. No, it was 2015. 2015
So
still.
what-
2015 still.
What I
I
want
came in November. Came home in November.
I think we're getting the timeline mixed up a little bit here. Like when you graduated high school, How long was it before you had to go?
So we graduated like mid-June, right?
Right.
I went boot camp mid-August.
So you had
I had the whole summer.
You
I
had
made sure I
basically-
had the whole summer to hang out and like do stuff,
Right.
Mhm.
party.
So what was it like right before you had to go? You know, were you nervous? Were you excited? Probably both, right?
I was extremely nervous and
Right.
scared because this is like a new thing in my like a new chapter in my life. So I didn't know what to expect because I'd never had people before me explain this is what happens, what you're about to go through. And you had like the recruiter telling you, but they also did it like 20 years ago.
They try to
so-
sweeten it up
yeah,
too, so
sweeten
that
it
way
up,
you don't
so,
back
like,
out either, right?
Exactly. So I went to a hotel in Cherry Hill. That's where they like put you in, then ship you the next morning. Had my family to come there. It was like very sad, and like, everyone's crying. And
What do you
stuff
mean
like that.
ship? Like,
Yeah.
as in you're getting on a plane
Shipping, yeah. So in the military, ship is like
or
pretty much you just sending you somewhere.
Yeah.
So I say that shipping, going on an airplane, shipping,
Okay,
taking a
right.
car somewhere, they're just shipping you out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
getting
they just
shipped.
ship you off.
Yeah. So
And where'd you get shipped?
so after Cherry Hill, we went to Fort Dix.
Where's that?
So, it's like an hour from here, actually, near Hamilton. Nah, it's farther than Hamilton.
It's Jersey.
Yeah, it's like an hour from like this location.
Okay.
So I went there, got prepped. They did another physical on me. Then I went to the Philadelphia airport, and that's when it all began. And
then-
that's when I didn't know anybody. Like I didn't have my phone, so I was just.
You didn't
didn't
get
have-
to bring it with you, or
They recommend not to bring it, so I didn't bring
Really?
it. Yeah.
What's the reason?
I guess like so it doesn't get lost or stolen or something like that. And plus, you're not allowed to have it at all.
It could be a mental aspect too.
It is because
yeah,
we were like born in this generation that always have our phone on us.
and
So-
you're just gonna want to continue to want to be home the more like you have your phone. I
Correct,
feel
yeah,
like
yeah.
okay.
so.
And then you're at Fort Dix, and then you said that's after Fort Dix is when it all began.
Yeah, they take me to Philadelphia, the
Okay.
airport.
Okay,
Then that's where like it was like a blur for me.
okay.
Yeah, and like when we're asking you these sort of questions, if there's anything where you're like, I can't tell you, or I have to kill you, sort of thing, or, like,
Nah.
or if you just don't want to talk about it or anything like that, like
I'll
just,
tell you anything you want to know.
Just
he's coming on here singing. I
All
like
right,
it.
well, I don't want you to have like some sort of like tick where you're just gonna like turn around and
Nah,
kill
not
all
at
of
all.
us or something.
Nah.
But so when you went to basic, like what was basic like?
All right, it's not called basic. That's Army.
Okay,
So we call it boot camp. So it's
Okay.
like if you tell like a Army or Marine guy that,
Mhm.
the Marine guy's like it's like way tougher, so they call it boot camp. Just-
Okay, so what
just
was that
FYI.
like? Okay, yeah, I never knew that. That's actually
Yeah. So
I'm gonna watch what I say to people now when I'm like,
So-
how was so and so or you
for
know.
the first 3 days, I actually didn't sleep at all. You don't even know what time of the day it is. So we got to South Carolina. I don't even know what time, like the middle of the night, and we sit in like the airport lobby waiting to get picked up. So I get picked up, then they take us on like a school bus, and the first thing they tell you is put your head down and don't look up. And I was sitting in the, I was
That's
sitting,
scary.
It is scary.
That's
and
like
of course,
prison.
my like stupidity, I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna follow what you say," and I didn't look up at all. So, it told us,
Wait, you're telling me sorry. You sat this whole bus ride and you did not lift your head at all.
yeah, I didn't lift it at all. I was so scared. I was like, I'm just gonna do what they say.
That
But,
dude, that's very. No matter how tough you are, to just be miles and miles away from your home, and then just that's brutal.
But I feel like you just wanted to
Yeah,
listen, right? You wanted to comply because was this your first day? You said
Yeah, it's first day.
at that point you're like, I
And
need to make an impression, right? So you want to.
What's
listen.
crazy is no one said a word on the bus. It was just dead quiet. That's what was like, even like more freaky about it.
And did you know where you were going?
Well, we knew we were going to Paris Island. That's what the boot camp's called. Not South Carolina.
Okay.
So we knew we were going there. So we
Go on.
all right, thanks. So we get on the bus. We're going. It's like actually not far. It was like a 30-minute drive. I remember. So I was on the. So you know how when you walk on a bus, there's this 2 seats, one behind the driver and the one behind that whatever. I was in the first seat to the right, so I can see the drill instructor walk up the bus, and that's when it like all went loose. Like he's yelling, screaming. I don't know what. I'm like scared. I'm running off the bus. I don't know what's going on. They're pointing like, go here, go there. I'm like, oh crap, I don't like what's going on. I was like freaking out.
Jeez.
It was like all a blur, and it's like the middle of the night, so you like, no
and
idea
you
what-
just got off the plane, probably a little groggy.
You're
like,
tired,
what
yeah.
the hell?
tired, then you like sit down. Pretty much they're yelling at you like for 3 days straight.
And you're probably wide awake the entire time, Loki.
Oh, yeah.
The entire time too, right?
Yeah, this was like all a blur, like I said. Like when it was happening,
Yeah, because your mind's just going through sleep deprivation. Yeah, it's just so like it's probably like so alert. Like everything's just like kind of your environment just feels threatening. Like you're just like, oh, dude, like everything, like people are yelling at me. Just never.
I never really got yelled at like that before in my life.
That's bad. I feel like that's bad for like your psychological state, just to walk
what
off
they
a
do.
bus
They try
and just get yelled at.
They try to break you down.
Mhm.
They want
That's
you.
what I was gonna say
They
next,
want you to
when-
quit.
When Joe was here a couple weeks ago, we were talking about art. I talked about like the est way of training of art, where they just tell you your work sucks, so eventually you'll just make like the best work ever. So like that's all I know about like basic and boot camp is that like they break you down, and then eventually like how do you say this? The idea is like they break you down and then they build you up.
Exactly.
right?
That's what they do. Yeah. So you're like a scum. You're like nothing. You're like a worm. Then they like break you down, and then you turn into a Marine. That's the whole goal. The
Wow.
purpose of breaking you down.
And I guess a lot of that too is just has to do with them strengthening you at the same time, because you have to be ready for anything, any kind of circumstance. So I guess that's part of it too. But it is kind of crazy, especially like you said, you never been yelled at like that before. You were probably like, holy shit.
I was terrified.
Oh, dude.
Having like 4 grown ass men yelling at me and my face spitting on me. I'm like, what the heck?
So what kind of stuff did you guys do at boot camp? Like, is it like I know a couple guys who were Army, they went to basic or what, like you said, and they just were like, yeah, I know the air raid sirens come on at like 3 a.m. You run like 10 miles, and then what? Like, you know what I mean? What was it like for you?
So we went to bed every day at 8 and woke up at 4, and they just like turn the lights on. They like yell at you to get dressed fast as possible. I mean, we went on runs. We did all that like normal stuff you probably seen in movies and like TV shows. They just break us down like mentally and physically. Like there wasn't too much bad about boot camp. Like it was very easy. I feel like anybody could do boot camp.
It's
all mental.
at that time.
At that time,
It probably felt like it was the worst, and then in comparison of your full time enlisting, you were like, that's not that bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
What was the food like?
Oh, it was awful.
They just give you slop?
So
It's like astronaut food.
You don't have. It's all slop. You go down and it's like prison. They just slap it on you and you go, and you can't even eat it all at this, because you eat for like a minute at least. And
That's what doesn't make sense to me. I feel like you should be like bulked up with like
Yeah,
protein,
well nourished.
Yeah,
Well, maybe all that shit is probably like all the nutrients you need, but
Mhm.
instead it's just in one slop, and they just plop it on your tray, right?
yeah, that's all it is. And I lost like 20 pounds, I think. I wasn't fat, and I wasn't like skinny, but I still lost like 20, 15 pounds.
Do you think any of that converted to muscle, or you think that was
No,
just
it was
straight up loss?
Straight up, I just lost weight.
Wow, dude. If I don't know what it was called, but we had like that thing in the gym one day where like the military guys came in, you did the obstacle course.
Oh, yeah, I seen that. Yeah, Lauren. They did that for her soccer team. I remember that.
I went through the tires, walked up the wall, carried some ammo boxes back to the place, and then I threw up for like an
It's
hour.
actually called like a CFT. It's a combat fitness test that we do every 6 months. It's
Really?
actually really hard.
I wonder
Yeah.
how good I would do at that.
I crushed it. Just saying.
I think you would do pretty well.
So there's a really popular CrossFit gym. They actually train with the Army Warrior Fitness team. They're like a big CrossFit team, but in Nashville or in Tennessee or something like that. But they do it pretty often, and some of the CrossFit guys that do it like have the best scores there ever was. And I watch it on YouTube. They post it like every couple weeks or something like that. New guys doing like the Army Warrior test or whatever.
Dude,
So
and let me tell you, those ammo boxes are surprisingly heavy.
They're supposed to be like 45 pounds, I think.
But they're small.
Yeah.
Like, you look at them, like I remember, because it was the last thing to do in that obstacle course, and I actually vividly remember the thought in my head. I said, I cannot wait to get done these first 3 obstacles just to carry these ammo boxes. And that's actually
You
what
were
threw me
exhausted
over
by
the
that.
edge to puke, was carrying those ammo boxes. And then I forget who came up to me, but one of our friends in high school came up to me, and they were like, "You good?" I said, "Yeah," and then I puked 4 times. I'll never forget it, 4 times. And that wasn't even like anything that you remotely went through.
I actually never puked in any fitness. That's like a little
That's
brag,
insane.
little humble brag by myself.
You can brag about
You
that.
can
That's-
brag about that, yeah.
Yeah.
Me neither.
We're just athletes, Doc, you know.
Well, you didn't go to basic training.
Nah,
Or
but
boot
boot
camp.
camp. God
Ellis
damn it.
Island.
Boot camp.
I've done some like intense like workouts and stuff, but like obviously nothing like that. but like some intense stuff that I've never
Yeah,
thrown.
never.
I've came close.
Yeah, me too. I came very close, but I just never pulled the trigger.
So how long was this portion of
Boot camp
everything?
was 3 months.
And is that same thing?
Every day.
Bed at 8,
8,
wake up
or
at 4
Yeah.
for 3 straight months?
Doing your sheets, all
Doing
that
our
stuff.
sheets, it had to be a certain way, a
Did
certain
you get
fold.
any weekend off or anything like that, or just
No
consistent
weekend. So on Sunday we get like an hour, 2 hours,
to just?
just to hang. It's
Hang
not
out.
church. People go to church.
I feel like a lot of guys that go away to boot camp or basic training come back and they're like studs at playing the guitar. Because you don't really have it. What do you have to do, right? Nothing.
You can't even bring a guitar in boot camp.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, that's probably like
Later.
after the fact.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
when Christian was in Jacksonville, we played Xbox a lot together. So
Mm-hmm.
we played a lot together. It was like you were still in Jersey. It was kind of funny. We got to hang out for a couple hours each day, which was cool. And you had your phone and everything at that time.
Mm-hmm. After
So-
boot camp, it kind of goes back to.
So you were
Right.
at boot camp for 3 months, and then did you come home, or they just ship you right after boot camp?
After boot camp, you get like a week off. You come home and like hang out. With
I
family and
remember.
friends.
I actually remember. Yeah, I remember when you
I'm
got
pretty
done.
sure we hung out all together.
We did. I
Yeah, we did.
remember that because you were saying that earlier. I remember you coming home. I just can't remember like the year. I don't remember if it was college or like
It
sophomore
was like
year.
Thanksgiving time
Right.
on 2015.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because then we would go to our favorite local bar and we would.
We
just,
actually
No, this
weren't-
was before that.
We weren't old enough.
We were 19 at the time.
dude, what is happening? It all
No,
blurs.
because we went to the bar when he came back when we were 21.
When he
Right.
was like done his 4 years, I'm pretty sure. I remember we were having wild turkey shots or something.
oh
Yeah, we were at the bar and yeah, it was Thanksgiving Eve, but
That
you
was later in
you
my.
still went back after that, so you weren't fully out of it.
No.
What is that considered? How do I say that?
What, the leave?
No, like
Like-
right now you're not enlisted, I guess.
I'm done. I'm
You're
done.
not active?
I'm not
You're
active.
not active.
I'm
Right.
not
So
active.
I'm saying at this time when we were all together at the bar, you were still active because
Yeah,
you had to go back.
It's called leave. You just like how work is, I guess. I don't
Right.
know. It's just
Yeah.
leave. So you
Well,
get-
let's not get lost in the timeline because I'm not gonna lie, I'm getting a little lost.
No. Yeah. So
That was
'cause
a blip
Rocco
on
was
my
got
end.
confused.
yeah.
But yeah, so this was only 3 months after training, right?
yeah.
Right. So then,
Yeah. I came home for a week. Then they
Mhm.
shipped me back.
yeah,
Oh.
and I remember when you came home because we hadn't, you didn't have your phone,
Yeah.
so we hadn't heard from you the whole time.
Yeah. They were like I wrote letters. I don't think we wrote. Wait, did I?
No, you wrote me one.
Did I write
I
you
got
one?
one from you. Yeah.
You wrote. You know who wrote me a letter?
You might have wrote me a letter.
No, I might have wrote you. No, I sent you that video.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
in it.
That's
I was
later
in,
on. Later on.
Okay.
No, that was still years later, Rocco.
Okay.
No, but I remember in the beginning you wrote me a
I
letter.
think I did write you a
I
letter.
think I still have it actually because
That'd be cool if you did.
I have to look. I'll have to post it to Instagram if I did.
I don't
But,
think you sent me one. I think Darren was the one that sent me one. He actually sent me a very he chirped me a little bit that I can't say on air, but yeah, he sent me a letter. But it wasn't
Piece
you.
of crap, dude.
But
Who
you
does
sent
that?
you sent Chris one, which truly shows who your best friend is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
he
then-
says that with no hesitation, so you should just leave him alone now. about
Well
it.
then let's. But yeah, the timeline.
So after that part is done, you get your week off. Where are you going now?
Now I go to North Carolina, Jacksonville, and I go
Okay.
for my job, what I'm going to do,
Right.
and that's called SOI, School of Infantry. I was infantry guy.
What's that? For
Yeah, I
people
was
that
gonna
don't
say.
know.
Infantry guy is like guy with a rifle running into combat, like you see in
So
every.
you're like a
every
first line guy.
First line guy, yeah, first line guy.
Jarhead.
Jarhead, exactly.
All right. So you did. So you had to do more training after boot camp to do this. You started the school now,
Yes.
and then what?
So you're there for 2 months. You learn the basics of like as an infantry, like a grunt, like a rifleman. You learn how to clear houses, like go on patrols, look for IEDs. IEDs are like the bombs that the terrorists.
Like the landmines.
yeah,
Yeah, like landmines.
exactly. Yeah. Then I go to another part. There's like 2 parts. First part's like basic, and the second part is like my advanced. What I'm actually going to be doing. I'm a mortarman. It's a high angle weapon that like you drop mortars and it flies up in the air. It's pretty cool.
There's someone we know from high school. He was a mortarman as well, but I think for the army. I don't know. I'll ask you about him later. I want to talk about him now, but
Can-
a mortar. I don't know if you ever played like Call of Duty.
They're
right?
actually
It's almost like a tube.
Yeah,
It
it's
looks
a
like a
tube.
giant PVC.
Yep.
And you can aim it any which way. And you were a mortarman, so you would drop the mortar, which is the bomb, into this giant PVC, and then it would just shoot out.
Oh no, yeah,
yeah.
I killed tons of people in Gears of War.
You use mortars in Gears of War?
Oh yeah.
There was a gun called a mortar, but it's not like that. It doesn't look like that.
No, it doesn't look like that.
Now,
at all.
with that, is there any kind of calculations you have to do beforehand to
There's math involved on where you
angle it and
to
stuff,
angle it,
right?
yeah. Correct. But we had a computer.
I was gonna
'Cause
say, was it like
infantry
hard to
guys
do that?
aren't- No,
Or-
I'm not the smartest guy, but I'm telling anybody can do this.
Okay.
Yeah, I could do it.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I was actually
If Doc can do it, it's pretty simple.
I was
huh?
actually like the
No, I'm
head
just
guy of leading a mortar platoon. Humble brag, also. But I'm saying it was like very easy because it's like all computer stuff. So
Right.
you just type it in the computer.
That's great. You're a certified killer.
Technically, yeah.
Can you be a certified killer by
Yeah, if
title?
you're like a boxer or like a MMA fighter, your hands are like registered. They're like certified killers. Like if you got into a fight at a bar, you'd get in trouble because you were registered. Like your hands are lethal.
So is that what are you lethal as a whole?
I mean, I guess. I don't know. Probably some like warhead that's actually out there listening probably thinks I'm like a little bitch. So
No. So, what I wanted to ask was, when you were going through what'd you call it? SOI.
Yeah, SOI.
School of
School of
Infantry.
Infantry, yep.
Infantry, right? Now, do you have to go through a certain amount of classes and training to get that title? Is it a license, like that
it's-
kind of thing?
it's
or?
like you pass tests and like
So you-
written tests, like exams of how to use the weapon system,
Mhm.
stuff like that.
Right. So you had to acquire that. So it
Correct,
took
yeah.
some time. You said 3 months that took?
2 months. It
2
was like
months.
a month of basic and a month of me learning that.
Are you coming home in
Okay.
between any time of this?
I came home. We actually like the way it fell. We came home for Christmas.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
But if
so-
it didn't, you wouldn't be able to come home for
Correct,
Christmas.
yeah.
No.
You came home from Christmas.
For Christmas.
for
was that-
Christmas.
Rocco's going to talk about something that was
Rocco's
like
gonna
last
be
year.
like,
Was that wild
Yesterday.
turkey incident?
No, it's
no,
later on.
dude,
Too.
Okay,
that's
okay.
still 2 years later.
All right, continue.
So so you're
We'll
done.
get there.
So you're done school of infantry, and you come home for Christmas, and you get to spend time with your family, your friends, whatever the case, over this
Yeah,
Christmas break.
Yep.
Then
Then they shipped me back out to North Carolina, where I
Jeez.
get stationed at North Carolina for 4 years.
you were in North Carolina for 4 years.
Yeah, so the school's there and also where the base is at.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd stay there. Other people went to like California, Hawaii.
So after you're done school of infantry, like, is there anybody that gets deployed right from there, or
Not likely. I mean, if it was
Okay.
wartime, maybe,
Uh-huh.
but not likely.
Okay, so 4 years, North Carolina. How long? Listen, how long were you actually active, like in the Marines? Or you're a Marine, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I get them all confused still. So 4 years, North Carolina. You've been a lot of places.
Yeah.
So what happened after your 4 years in North
Like,
Carolina? Where'd you go?
No. So what I mean by 4 years is that where like I was stationed there.
Okay, but you
And in
went
between
anywhere.
those 4 years, I
You
went
went
to
every. Okay, yeah,
other
yeah,
places.
yeah.
So let's hear about it. What happened in this 4-year span?
So, the first deployment, you're considered a boot. So what a boot is like your boots are like new, so they just call you a boot.
Got
so
new
you're just
boots?
like,
Got new boots?
yeah, got new boots exactly. So they just bully you, they haze you. For example, they would come in our room like after like it would be like 9 o'clock. They'll come knocking on our doors and they'll just like punish like PT, physical like fitness stuff, and they
You
make
guys
us do
just start,
push-ups and like squats.
Oh, I thought they would like knock at your door and you guys would just like get to mixing.
They would
like,
actually make us ground fight each other too.
Yeah, that's like a popular form of hazing. Happens in sports a lot too. You hear about a lot in sports. Like a lot of high schools even get in trouble for something like that. Like the coach knows what's going on, and you just make the freshmen like fight or whatever.
I'm telling you,
right in the locker room.
That we did that for 2 weeks, and that was probably worse than going to boot camp.
Yeah,
Because you're like, it's like a normal lifestyle, but they would just come to your doors and like bother you, and it just sucks. It was awful.
Like
And
randomly.
you're new because you're like new to everything. Randomly, yeah.
And who is this? You're saying they?
There are seniors.
we
Seniors
gotta
are
watch out for they.
I know. I don't want to
So
talk too loud about
they're-
these they.
they deployed before us.
So it's like
when
a
they come-
senior to a freshman kind of thing.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, or like a frat. Right, it's like they get hazed often.
Yeah.
Like it's probably just like
You gotta earn
the guys
it,
who
yeah.
like Chris said senior to a freshman, or
Mhm.
if you're a pledge, basically you're a pledge at this point.
Correct.
That
You're a new
makes sense.
boots, you're a pledge.
Yeah, in college. Yeah, terms,
Mhm.
yeah.
So what entailed you going to different places around the country?
So our first deployment, we went to we got stationed in Romania. I stayed there for 7 months, but while in Romania, we went to other countries. I went to
I'm a little geographically challenged.
Black Sea, if you know where the Black Sea.
Romania is in Europe.
Yes.
I know that.
There's a
Eastern
million
Europe.
countries in Europe.
Eastern Europe.
Okay.
If you know where the Black Sea is,
All right.
all those countries around there that I visited. So I went to Latvia, if you guys know where that is, by Russia.
It's near
Borders
Turkey,
Russia.
right? Did you get to
No,
see the homeland?
I never got to experience the homeland.
Well,
There's actually
have you ever been there on your own time?
no, I never did. I
You'll get
I don't
there.
have a passport, so yeah.
Oh,
But funny story about Turkey. They actually had a what's that thing where the military like fights the government?
mutiny.
A coup.
A coup d'état. Is that what it's called?
d'etat.
Yeah.
So Turkey had one when I was in Romania, and we had rumors that we were going to go there and like help the government out.
Oh my god!
I was
that-
actually scared because I'm like, I can't kill my own people, you know.
Dude, that
shit.
would have been insane.
My grandpa would have like disowned me.
Oh, dude, talk about. And there's nothing you could do, right?
I mean,
Like I'm
I
just,
don't- yeah, I
I'm
don't
just
think-
saying
yeah,
that
you just
hypothetical
nothing- yeah,
situation.
just
Like if
there's
they
nothing you can
station
do.
you there, like you're
Follow
just stationed,
orders.
right?
yeah,
That's
follow
all.
orders, yeah.
Could have just faked an injury.
But,
I got a knee.
Yeah. So I went to Latvia for
Does
a
that
couple weeks.
happen often? Like, do you hear stories of that happening often? Military people who
Discharge.
fake injuries.
Yeah, all the time. There's people like that. There's people that there's like scumbags in there.
What do they call them? Isn't there a term for that when you leave early? Isn't there a...
Accidental discharge.
No,
Quitters?
I'm talking more something like that's like derogatory. Like when back in the day they were like draft dodgers. What are these people called that just leave the military early? I can't think of it.
Yeah, I'm not too sure.
I don't
Anyway.
know. So
'Cause I heard you talk about faking an injury, or someone said it, and I was like, I wonder how often that happens.
Yeah, it happens a lot. You'd be surprised.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's probably just if you literally just can't take it anymore, especially mentally. Like you said, if you're getting broken down mentally every day, some people just won't be able to
not
handle
even
it.
that. Some people are just they're not meant to be in the
AWOL.
military.
Go
AWOL. Yeah,
AWOL.
go AWOL. There
Yeah.
you go.
Mm-hmm. So what was so you went to Romania and then Latvia?
Yeah, Latvia was a very beautiful country. We went to
Really?
a KGB house. You guys know what KGB is?
The
It was like the Russian mob.
Explain.
Russian mob.
Yeah, Russian mob. Yeah,
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was a
What'd you do
Russian-
there?
they had a prison there where they would take the
Like a gulag.
yeah, pretty much like the people that lived there. They would take them and like torture them.
Oh,
Oh my
holy
God.
shit,
Yeah.
dude.
And you saw the place?
Yeah, it's all the place.
Wait, you were there hanging out with them, or you were there like busting this place?
hanging out with them. Yeah,
And this was in Latvia still?
yeah, Latvia. Very
Okay.
beautiful.
How long are your stints in these countries?
So I was like, we do there for like training ops, like train with that country, like the country's military. So we'd be there like 2 weeks.
And that they probably like pre-assign you your time that you're there, right?
Oh, correct. This is when they do this stuff. This is like years planned.
Okay.
So when I deployed in 2016, they probably planned this in like 2014, 2013.
Okay.
So it's like very ahead.
Yeah, because you can't just pull up on Latvia with their government and
Correct,
military and be like, hey, can we?
We were like stimulating like if Russia attacks us. So that's why we were training with Latvia.
Right.
Now, I'm not sure if this is the right question to ask in chronological order, if I missed someone in these 4 years, but your training wasn't throughout these 4 years, right? Like that was just part of the 4 years that you're going to all these European countries. So, and that's all for training.
Yeah, well, you pretty much trained all 4 years. Like I trained my all 4 years.
Okay. Was there anything that was like a task that you didn't train for? Like,
No.
okay.
Yeah, no, there wasn't really anything like popped up there like, oh, you gotta do this.
Okay.
If that was the question,
Okay.
if I answered that correctly.
No, yeah, because it said like training. I wasn't sure if there was a time where like you got deployed and there was a mission that you had to follow through like your leader
yeah.
or something, or if it was just all training.
It was
throughout
all
the-
training.
Okay.
Yeah, I experienced no like anything crazy, like no like shooting or anything like that.
It wasn't wartime.
No
when
war
you
time.
were
Yeah.
after Latvia.
After
Where
Latvia,
are we at?
we went to Bulgaria. Very green.
No, that's
hills.
right next to Russia.
No,
right.
that's actually next to Romania and Turkey
Oh,
and the Black Sea.
okay.
Um,
And what was that like?
I didn't get to visit like the town. We just did training for 2 weeks, so it was all right. It was
What'd you-
hot there.
What'd you do for hobbies throughout this time?
I actually play a lot of basketball and run.
Okay.
I became a runner.
I just search up Bulgaria, and the first thing they give me is Bulgarian market in Philadelphia. Like, no, I want to see where it's at, Google. Doc's laughing at me. So,
There's
I'm
a
over here with my
Bulgarian
hands
market
in the air.
in how about that?
If anyone's interested in Bulgarian foods, Philadelphia.
That part of Europe is something I think you said it earlier. I know very little about that little
Yeah,
bundle.
Eastern Europe. Yeah, it's pretty. No one really cares. No offense to anybody that's Eastern European, but
Are they generally very like I know you said
They're
about
like-
Latvia, but are they usually all like pretty relatively like chill countries, like peaceful?
yeah, they're peaceful.
Oh, nice.
Latvia is very nice. It's like a first world country. It's super nice.
It sounds like that was your favorite place to be at.
On that deployment, it was just beautiful.
Awesome. Wow,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
What kind of this might be a dumb question, I don't really know, but what kind of language do they speak there?
I have no idea.
No clue.
No clue.
Do you even talk to the civilizations when you're at these civilizations? Do you talk to the people and
You want to say civilians.
civilians? Yeah, I said the wrong one. Do you talk to the civilians in these countries often? Like, how often do you see your regular civilian when you're deployed?
It depends if we go out in town. If not, we just talk to really, we wouldn't see anybody
Did
from
you
that country.
Did you have any translators when you would go on these, or
No,
They probably all spoke English, right?
I wouldn't. I mean, they knew we were. Yeah, they could speak. I like it. I can't really answer that because I really didn't talk to nobody over there.
One thing that it ties in with what I asked Chris about last week when he was in Aruba, like, and you know how like the townspeople aren't really welcoming to tourists and stuff like that. Did you ever feel like that when you were out? People were like, man, these military
Americans.
guys, or even just that.
That's for my second deployment, but my first deployment, they're all nice. They knew. You can obviously tell that we were Americans.
Well, it seems like you were there to help them, right?
Yeah,
Because you were
correct.
training,
training
the
with
military.
the military.
Yeah. Well, you guys were essentially training them because
correct. Yeah,
America or the United States is the most efficient
it's
there is.
yeah, it's funny because other countries love Donald Trump. They're like, "Oh, Donald Trump's the greatest guy ever," and we're like, "What the like?"
And you
I
just,
guess,
you
yeah.
just
And
look
that
at
was
them
just like, yeah,
rock on,
Before he
brother.
was president, or
No, I joined when he became president.
when he was coming, right?
Yeah.
Right.
that's a really interesting viewpoint to see how other countries view our government.
Yeah, they loved him.
Wow.
I think they loved him because he was crazy. That's
and
what I
and
think.
he was like a pro-military guy.
Yeah,
Right.
pro-
So
Well, this is from other countries.
right.
So
I mean, just in general,
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
I guess that might have had a little bit to do with it, but that is funny though.
it was super funny when they came up to like, oh, Donald Trump, oh, great guy, funny guy.
In your first deployment, where was your favorite place?
Where I stationed, Romania wasn't so bad. Like we actually got weekend liberty to go visit places, so it was pretty cool. But
You guys got
Latvia
to
was
see like tourist attractions and stuff like that. Or?
yeah.
And then what about where was your second deployment at?
My second, I was on a boat.
Well, that was
It's
at
called-
the end. That was at the end.
Oh, that
right.
is the end.
That's the
Yeah.
end.
So
of
we
my-
didn't get there yet.
I'm sorry. I know we were
Where
talking
am
about
I? Yeah,
we were
first
talking about the first deployment. and I
deployment,
knew we were talking
26
about Latvia and stuff. So
First deployment was 2016 to 2017.
okay.
But
So how long was the total time that you were out there?
7 months.
7 months.
Yeah,
Okay. And
7
did you
months.
get to come home after that, or right back to
So it
Carolina?
depends. I was home for like a month. Then I mean home in North Carolina for a month. Then I came home
here?
to
Right
here.
Okay.
Yeah, New Jersey. Yeah.
So you had to go right back to Carolina, and then you got to come home for a little bit,
Yeah, correct.
and then you're right back to Carolina again.
Right back to Carolina.
Now, what is every day like when you're there? Just every in and out.
It's actually easy lifestyle.
Well, when you come home from your first deployment, you're not a boot anymore, right?
No, that's when you get your boots.
You're doing the
So
hazing.
you can
You're-
haze them.
Okay, that's
That's
always a
some
plus.
It's
That's
always a
al-
plus.
Yeah,
But it was like bad on us because that's when hazing was really not like
yeah,
tolerable. So
you're not doing
That's
that
the
anymore.
worst.
once you get caught, your career's done. It's over.
I'm not talking about anything about the hazing, but it's the worst when like
You
you were
get-
in a position
Yeah.
that got hazed, and then now you're in the position to haze, and it's like if anything, I want to dish it back because that was terrible. It's one
Yeah,
of
it's
my least
also-
favorite
it's-
times,
it's-
and then they frowned upon it
it's-
during your time.
It's cool because like when you talk to you become really good friends with your seniors. So like you're like I don't know, people in your frat, whatever.
Mhm.
You become like best friends. Like I still talk to people like today. They're just like become like brothers because you guys experience all that stuff together. So
Yeah,
camaraderie is like amazing.
for sure, dude. Hey, you're talking about a bunch of people who were just taken out of their regular element to now just like be basically in survival mode for 4 years and learning all these things. So like it gets to a point where you guys actually have more stuff in common and not just for leaving your home. You know,
Yeah.
just sharing the same stuff that you have to like. Not only that, with the military, when it comes to so many things that's like very stressful to a person that everyone deals with it at once, you guys are just you guys all have the same common denominator. It's like I don't want to do these.
Yeah,
like,
no one wants to be there.
Yeah.
Everyone's sick of this. They just want to go home. So that's where
It's pretty. It's funny. So I'm seeing both sides of the spectrum. Like Rocco said, like, oh, you'd probably love to just haze these new boots or whatever like that. But at the same time, it's probably awesome that they did
It's
away with
awesome.
that
Very-
because
no.
you just said like that was worse than
it's
boot
literally
camp.
it was.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad that it's like because some people did like fucked up shit to some people, and it was like totally messed up. Like this one kid, I'm not gonna say any names. He got poured bleach on in the shower.
Like
That's-
so, I've heard
Yeah.
stories where some people say that their experience in boot camp or basic training, or even their experience, like what you were saying, just being the new boots, like some of that might be even worse than some stuff they do when they're deployed. Like I hear a lot of people say that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's how it goes. But
I don't even understand the point of even taking it that far.
I mean,
That's just-
taking it that far is just
yeah.
Why would
not
you even
right.
want to do that to someone?
Some people are just evil.
That's a
man.
shame,
Just
man.
sickos, right?
Plus, there's
Well-
probably people in the military who. Would you say you've met like some psychotic people in
Oh,
the military?
absolutely.
Yeah, like there's probably people there just
There's
ready to
some
kill.
people that you're just like, I gotta stay away from this guy. 'Cause he might like.
I'm sure you had your eye out early to
Oh,
know
absolutely.
who was who.
No,
yeah.
you know.
That's what I'm saying.
Now let me ask you this: do you think anybody thought that about you?
Actually, funny thing, one of my seniors thought I was like going to be a serial killer when I grew up. I was like, I thought about it. I
When
was
you
like,
grew up,
You thought about becoming a
no, I was like, me of all people, you think me? I'm like a nice guy, I think.
I mean, what were you doing that made him think that?
Exactly, I have no idea.
You know what it could be, and I know that you're generally a quiet guy. Sometimes the quiet guys are scary.
You were just plotting.
Yeah, you can see it on the softball field sometimes. I go at it.
Mm.
You got a little chippiness in you.
So with your second deployment, you're on a boat.
Correct.
Elaborate on this boat because
All right.
some people might think it's like a kayak or something. Like you know what I mean?
The boat was the worst time of my life. It was a prison. This boat is like huge. There's like at least like 5,000 people on this boat.
Like, is this the size of like something that carries shipping containers?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like the
Yeah.
Titanic, like a massive boat.
Just imagine that
like
smaller.
a
though.
cruise ship.
Smaller.
Oh yeah,
Cruise ships are actually huge. They're like
I feel like a cruise ship's bigger than Blackwood.
Oh,
I
the
would say
cruise
that,
ships
yeah.
are massive.
But-
So bigger than a yacht? Is it like a yacht?
Yo, bigger than a yacht, yeah.
But smaller than a cruise ship.
Yeah.
So still a sizable boat,
So
a big one.
It's a big boat.
Okay.
But they cram so many people in one space, and you live there, and you're with these people all the time, and you just hate it. I actually didn't see the sun for like 2 weeks.
Oh my lord!
No.
That's
And you're out on the water?
That's
Is
how
it-
Chris
Out on the
lives.
water, yeah, the Atlantic, the Red
Yeah.
Sea. I was actually on the Suez Canal. You guys never hearing that?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
backed
With the
up a couple
backed
weeks
up,
ago.
I was actually on that. Funny thing, when we were passing it, you can actually see when you look out, you can see the land like very closely. And we had Egyptian security, like it was like a Ford pickup truck with a 50 cal in the back, just guiding us.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
it was crazy.
So when you're on the boat, now you're going in and out of the night, like did it get bad at any point with the being on the ocean, storms, that kind of stuff?
There was actually when we were crossing through the Atlantic was bad because it's like very
That's gotta
bumpy.
be scary.
It's like you've seen those videos where like you jump and you like stay up in the air for a little bit. That's what it was like.
That happened?
I actually never got. Yeah, it did. I actually never got sick. Humble bragging, also.
you have a few humble brags.
Yeah, you know.
Hey,
You deserve
You
'em.
got a lot
Yeah.
to brag about,
yeah,
you know.
you deserve them.
And how long? This was another 7
This was
months?
8 months. This one.
8 months. And I remember
On a
this
ship.
because you told us
Awful.
beforehand that you didn't have your phone for that either.
No, I had it, but I didn't have like service.
It was, well, yeah, you were out in the middle of nowhere,
Oh, it was-
basically.
This is news to me that you have more than one deployment because I thought when you start your 4 years, that's it. You just go somewhere for 4 years. You know what I mean? I didn't know that you had
Army's mostly like that. They only go on like one deployment and they stay there.
Did you even really like talk to us about your second deployment? Because I feel like you're right too. I only remembered your first
I honestly
deployment.
never really talked to like any of my friends about like my military experience.
You don't. Yeah.
I just never did.
Well,
it's like if people ask, you'll explain it, but like you don't really
Well,
like.
my thing is, I'm very curious as to what you went through, but at the same time, you don't ask.
I don't.
because you never know who. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, all the stuff with the PTSD. I mean, like I said, you don't strike me as someone like that has like crippling PTSD. But I'm always nervous when you see someone come home, you don't want to ask them how was their time because you don't want to bring that tick back or whatever the case.
You don't know what they went through.
That one guy in his camp thought he had PTSD. Thought he was going to become a serial killer.
So what was the overall goal of being on the boat? I you know what I mean? Basically, why are you there?
We were the 9/11 call. So if Trump, if say just like a war broke out, or we needed to back like an embassy up, we're the 9/11 call.
Yeah, like let's say there's a coup d'etat going in Turkey.
Yeah, and they need guys immediately. We're the first one there. So I was stationed like the Middle East, like the whole ocean area.
Okay, I see.
So I don't know what like the ocean's called, like Red Sea maybe. I might be wrong. I have no idea.
And what dictates what country is going to get people deployed? Like, who makes that decision? Is it ultimately the president, or?
So the president has not like he is, but there's like a secretary guy. I don't know the key term for it, but he like runs that section, that area. There's like these generals own like each section of the world. So one guy's North America, South America, Middle East, like
because
Asia and stuff like that.
Because I would imagine in the military and the people who are in the upstairs management, I don't know what to call it, but like in that upstairs branch,
it's like this chain of command.
They hear all these current events going on around the world.
Right.
I would imagine you can't just go to every one, so they pick and choose which one is the most reasonable one.
The military just has reach everywhere. That there's like he's one 9/11 call, but there's also like how many around the world, right? Like,
a lot,
But you can't. But so they do them all anytime they feel like there's an issue within a government.
Could, but what do I know? I'm just like a grunt that knows nothing.
Right.
Yeah. So
not that I don't think that about you.
You guys remember that Israel thing? Not Israel. Iran. Sorry.
Okay, I was gonna say the Israel thing's going on.
It was like 2 years ago. We were very close to go to Iran.
I do remember Iran.
Yeah.
So they sent out a ship called the Abraham Lincoln to like shoot missiles at Iran, and we actually like saw that ship go by.
You saw it?
They actually, we saw it.
Wow.
Well, we thought we were gonna go there. That was like very close of like that was the only like thing we had of like, oh shit, we're about to
we were close.
Something. They had like when we were going through the Suez Canal, they had like boats around us. They had like drones up like above us watching us.
What started that conflict again? Like what made the tensions rise that we almost went over there?
They took over like a British ship.
Was that what it was? Okay.
Yeah. And they took over like an oil thing too, I think.
Right. Yeah, that got pretty. I remember that. I remember walking upstairs and looking at my phone, and I was like, "Wow, this got like tensions."
I wouldn't say I'm friends with this guy, but I know him. Maybe he's married to my cousin or something like that. But he's I don't know what branch of the military he's in. But remember when whatever was going on in Syria and like the U.S. bombed Syria? I guess he was a Marine because he was on the ship and they were like bombing Syria or whatever the case.
We had planes go over there and bomb as well.
Yeah.
So I was actually in some stuff, but not in some stuff.
You were around it.
I was around it.
Ready to go.
I was ready to go
at any time.
So after the 8 months of the boat, that was kind of your last stint, right?
Yeah.
And then you got
just
what was the
in,
ending
Carolina
process after that?
Before I go there, there's this scene, in Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Call of Duty 4. The first scene. Oh, bear with me here. The first scene in Call of Duty 4, when you're like walking through that town and they have the music in the background, like the Middle East country now. All right, well,
you're setting the scene well though.
Mm-hmm.
We were in this country. Hold on, I forget what it's called, but it was like a middle like an Arab country, and we were like. And
over there, tensions are high. Like you were saying, like these people are looking at you like
this is
they
where
don't like you.
This is where I'm getting at. We were walking. It was like there's like a market, and there's hundreds and hundreds of people, and obviously we're like
sticking out like a sore thumb.
Americans just walking through, and we actually go down this wrong alley, and these people came up to me. The English wasn't bad. They were like, "This is not the area you guys should be in. You should just turn around." And we're like, "Holy crap!" And they started playing their music in the background because it was their praying time. So I was like, "Holy crap! This is like Call of Duty style. We're about to get mugged out here."
Oh my god! You probably turn around so fast,
dude. That. You want to know what instantly comes to my mind when I hear scenes like that? This is like somewhat off topic, but it's like, dude, as like a person, like you're just here to just, I mean, you talk about this a lot, just, achieve goals, ultimately achieve like happiness. And then you go to these other countries and just instantly there's just tension. You don't even know these people. It's just such an interest, and it makes sense too. Like those people have every right to feel like threatened. You know, like, because they have no idea why these people are entering these countries who happen to
they
just be
don't- yeah.
military. And, like, for their self-defense, they're in their own home country, and they just feel threatened, and it sucks. It's like-
Afghanistan people, they still think that the Russians are over there killing them. If you didn't
and,
know
and I
that.
don't know enough about current events, too, because there is some really screwed up stuff happening, too, where it just makes sense. And it's, that stinks to go over there and you just get that stink eye, and you probably felt threatened yourself over there.
Ew. Like, I felt like I was good, but once we like did that, like that happened to us, we're like, all right, we should get out of here.
Yeah, that's wow.
Now,
That's-
did you do this? It was like a walkthrough. Did you have like a weapon on you and stuff?
No, you're not allowed to,
Okay, that's
because
what I,
there are Marines that are
so yeah.
stupid.
So now you're
'Cause they-
walking through this alley and you have nothing. You're just your
nothing.
bare hands at
Just
this
bare
point.
hands, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Not
a
even
little
a
scary.
knife?
Your heart was
Not
probably
even a knife.
racing.
You can't have anything.
So what's the whole point of that? It was just
We were just experiencing the country.
okay.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
kind of
It
enjoying
wasn't
the
like
town.
No,
we're just
nothing
walking
crazy.
through and seeing no.
I also went to Spain while I was on the ship. Spain was beautiful. Went to Greece, beautiful.
That's awesome.
Kuwait's right next to Iraq, hot, very hot.
I gotta
Not
say,
good.
Chris, you did it because I tried getting the timeline right and I failed time after time.
Yeah,
you did
we're doing pretty well right now.
You did an unbelievable, because I just let him take over. You did an unbelievable job, like
Well,
keeping it on
'cause,
track.
I mean, I remember most of it. I mean, me and Christian have
Yeah, me
been
and
friends
Chris been
since sixth
great
grade,
friends.
and we were best friends all throughout high school. It's
Mhm.
like I remember that vividly.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm pretty sure even in like middle school, you knew you were gonna go, and you told me you were gonna go. So I knew
Yeah,
that
it
you
was-
wanted to do
yeah,
it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
nothing was stopping me of doing what I was going to do.
Right. So, and I remember when you were leaving, like Earl said, I remember at graduation when you had your recruiter there. That's when it started to like really feel real.
Yeah,
You know.
Yeah,
So.
when he was more in my life, I was like, all right, this is actually
hmm
real life.
So yeah, I remember everything. And of course, when he got to come home, you know, we
I
always
remember,
were.
yeah.
Big
I
celebration.
was always excited. We got to hang out for a little bit,
And me and Doc became best friends, and that's
Yeah,
it.
we're like best friends
Best
now.
friends.
and now we're here.
Now we're here.
So let me ask you this. Well, thank you first of all for sharing all that. That
No
was
problem.
it's cool to hear
It's
it.
actually, I never really tell people this, so it's actually cool.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people that are going to listen and think it's cool to hear from your
Yeah,
side of the
I
story.
hope I think everyone should join the military.
I was just about to say that. Would you recommend?
I loved my experience. I didn't love the people in it, but the experience was like a blast. Like I wish everybody could join it, because the military is not what people think. Like, you can join the military and have like a 9-to-5 job, and you just put on the uniform and you make benefits. You can make good money. It's like a good opportunity that people just think, oh, I'm
I
just
actually
gonna.
thought about it a year ago. Thought about it because I
It's-
don't know what I want to do with my life. I just graduated
There's-
school and I'm
and
like,
There's
thinking,
so
like,
many jobs that are available that people just don't know, because they think, oh, they're gonna give me a gun and I'm gonna go fight in a war. No, it's not how
I
it
have
works.
I have a lot of recruiters in my it's sort of like LinkedIn, but it's just for Rutgers, and I have a lot of like Army recruiters that are like, hey, you're like totally qualified to do this job, like you can come, but I'd have to go to like basic training or boot camp or whatever the case, and then I'd be qualified to like do the job or whatever. But they're like simple jobs, like for what I went to school with, like, oh, you'd be a health manager, but just for the military
Yeah.
or something. Yeah.
So what I was going to ask though is, what if you had to get one major thing out of it? What was your biggest outcome from all
My
of it?
biggest
You know what I
outcome is-
mean?
I would say my physical fitness, because after my second deployment, I felt so good, like how my body felt and how I just became also like competitive. Like, I'm very competitive. The Marine Corps makes you very competitive.
Oh, I think you're just as competitive in high school as you are like
I
right
don't know.
now.
Well,
Dude,
you already had the competitive edge to you, and then
Well,
that
yeah.
kind of brought it out even more.
And yeah, it's just that, and like how like my body is. I don't
And
know.
discipline too, right?
This,
I
oh,
feel
very
like
disciplined. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. Yeah, it's just like the normal stuff you don't really think, like cleaning your house, doing your laundry. Like,
you matured.
always having something. Yeah, the Marine Corps taught me to be like clean and be like disciplined. Yeah, matured.
You know, it's interesting when you said physical. When you said the physical aspect of it at first, I agree. Just on the fact we were talking about this one day when we were at the park jogging. When you told me you ran 12 miles straight, like not even a break, that's utterly insane.
When you're on a ship and you have nothing to do, you just run. I ran 5 miles a day. On like Saturdays, I ran 10. Humble brag as
Just
well.
like ran around the ship.
No, there's treadmills.
I was gonna say, I just had this vision in my head of
Just
him
me
like
running around.
at the top of the boat, just like going around and
through
seeing
the
views.
halls, like through the halls, just running laps.
or just like back and forth in your little dorm room, just like mini sprints.
That'd be exhausting.
So yeah, treadmills. Well, that's
Yeah, we
good.
get treadmills.
Well, yeah, I mean, and you've kept in shape since, which is good. And like I
Yeah,
said,
I mean,
like
I'm a
you
little
said,
slacking
Now-
right now.
well,
But
still, I mean, you got the figure going on, which is nice, and you're a healthy overall guy.
I think so.
Yeah, you're
Not as healthy
beautiful.
as Earl, but I'm getting there.
I have a
Yeah.
transitioning point here. What do you do in your free time now that you have now that you're out discharged? You have your own time. Like, yeah, obviously you're working right now, but aside from that, like, what do you do in your free time now that you have all this free time?
I really don't have much free
Well, you
time.
have a job. You
Well,
have a
yeah,
job.
I have a job.
I would say in comparison to the
Comparison?
military, yeah, right.
I had so much free time in the military. Like,
oh,
I actually
okay.
slept. When we're not doing anything, you do nothing.
Okay.
I played, like Chris was saying earlier, we played Fortnite
played a
lot.
ton of Fortnite.
Oh yeah, I
And
remember
You
that
know,
too.
it was funny too. Our schedules worked perfectly because I was working down the shore and usually didn't work until 4, and then you had like from 1 to 4 off,
Just not, yeah, just
and
not
we
doing
just
anything.
played Fortnite for like 3 hours a day. It was great.
Okay, yeah. Excuse me. I thought in comparison
Nah,
you were
yeah.
probably okay. Okay. Do you listen to the podcast a lot?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Do you are you excited to get into a little fact battle right now?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Did you
I did last week. Chris really disappointed me on the one, but
Okay.
I just because I think he doesn't put much time into it, but I think he has it this week, so I'm excited.
Now, when coming onto the show today, do you feel like he puts a lot of time into it? Looking at the beginning of the show and how he
I'm
prep.
not gonna say anything.
Okay.
I'm just waiting for the fact.
Okay. Okay.
All right, since Doc definitely won last week, I guess.
Want to
right?
know? Yeah, Doc's want to know.
Do we have the poll result? Oh wait, yeah.
You, you won, Doc.
We have a full
Is that what you wanna
24
hear?
hours, but last time I checked, it was 77-23.
You won, Doc. Is
And
that
I'm
what you
not,
wanna
and
hear?
I'm not gonna lie. The way the story is set up, I feel like some people who clicked you might have just clicked it on accident.
Right. So
No, Chris.
I'll just I'll go first since I'm gonna lose again, and we'll save yours for last. Where are we at here? Okay, so for my fat fact of the week, it is that your nose can remember about 50,000 different smells.
I hate that fact
I
already.
like
how
that's pretty
how
cool.
can your nose remember anything?
Well,
That's a good fact.
It's the way.
fact.
It's,
I mean,
you know what he
your
means.
brain- Well, when you smell something, your brain tells you what you're smelling. So I guess technically your brain
50,000 things.
is pretty crazy.
That is crazy.
And I read this fact earlier, and I'm not kidding you. I just started thinking about all the things that I smell.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in my car, and I'm thinking, like, you can smell the leather in your car
Mhm.
if you have an air freshener.
That's cool
That's a
because you
smell.
just know what it is too. Like, oh, that's
And
that.
Without, you got your eyes
Without-
closed, somebody
yeah.
put something in your nose, you can smell it. So think that somebody could put 50,000 different things in front of your nose, and you can differentiate it.
You just said a good one right there when you said the car, not just the leather, the word air freshener. There's like 10 different scents for that
100
brand.
different types.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm thinking black ice. I'm
Oh,
a
yeah.
big black ice guy.
Me too. Agreed.
I actually have a black ice spray. It's a good investment.
That's a good one. Okay, 50,000 different smells that you can
Good luck,
remember.
That was a good
That's
one.
gonna be tough to beat. That might have been your best one yet.
Okay,
Take that.
Godshall likes it.
That's
Yeah,
honestly
yeah,
all
Doc,
I care
you,
about.
you took anatomy a couple times. You remember the nerve in your brain?
The nerve?
Yeah, the nerve that is responsible for smelling.
Yeah, I have no clue. Absolutely not.
Doc took anatomy 4 times.
Yeah.
Aw, come
Come
on,
on,
come on
man.
now,
Like-
man. We're all trying.
Listen, Doc, I failed macroeconomics.
Yeah. All right. My turn. All right. So a coffee taster had his tongue insured for 10 million euros. Gennaro Palicia doesn't just appreciate a good cup of coffee. He's a professional coffee taster who works for England's Costa Coffee Company. His discerning tongue is so key to his job that he was able to insure it for a whopping 10 million euros, which is 11.3 million American dollars. He said, "My tongue and my ability to perceive different aromas are very important to my work."
Our facts kind of go together.
Yeah, I was going to say that. It's like one's a nose, one's a tongue, you know. The senses, I guess.
Okay, so
I think this one's gonna be close.
this is going to be because it depends on how
would
you
be
look at it.
close, Yeah.
Are you more interested in how many different varieties of smells there are? Or are you more interested in the fact that
Someone
That-
is so good at his.
it's so good at
His
that
senses.
sense particularly that it's worth $10 million?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's pretty crazy. So I guess the guy's just like a coffee taster, you said?
Yeah,
So-
it's his profession. He got his tongue insured for 10 million euros.
Unlike you and him have a lot. Well, Doc, you and him have a lot not in common because he has a very refined palate, whereas you have a very basic.
What
one.
is this? Just attack Doc on the last 10 minutes of the show?
If we're if we're pricing just like a muscle here, how much do you think like Mike Trout's right hand is worth in insurance?
I don't think
Like
it's
$1
right
billion?
hand. I'll say his whole body.
Yeah, so why just his
Well,
hand?
yeah, why would? Yeah.
He would never be able to throw again.
Yeah, but
I would
think
love
he's
to be
more,
his financial
I
advisor.
think his body's more. I
Well,
don't
no,
know.
because the guy insured his tongue. So
All right,
so
fair enough.
you're
I
saying
understand, I
like
understand what you're saying.
Mike Tyson's hands
Yeah,
in the
so-
That's
prime of
better.
his career.
That's better.
okay, sure,
Right.
yeah,
It's like
yeah,
an
yeah.
interesting thing to insure. Like, what am I just gonna come up to him and cut his tongue out? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's interesting to insure.
There might be a crazy person out there that wants to analyze it.
Like,
for
that's
scientific
like
data.
really odd. Like, you know, like how tattoo artists like have their hands insured, so if they get in a car accident, they can get money because they can't tattoo anymore. Like,
Can't
what would
work,
happen to
yeah.
this guy's tongue?
Yeah, if he got tongue cancer and
Oh,
like
yeah,
survived, he would get like $10 million
Yeah.
and live.
I was just thinking, too, if he's a coffee taster, I mean, like, depending on how you like your coffee, but a lot of coffee's hot. You
I was
know?
thinking that too. That's a good
You
point.
know, what if he burns his tongue and he loses his, his taste, his taste buds, yeah.
There was actually an older lady who sued McDonald's because the coffee temperature was hotter than the legal temperature and it spilled on her thigh. And even though she spilled it herself because the coffee temperature was hotter than that legal temperature,
No,
she won the case.
I thought it was. That's why that coffee cups now have to say caution hot.
And
because-
that's
yeah,
part of
that's
it
what
too.
was.
Yeah, that's part of it too. Very
I
interesting.
never knew that.
hmm
That
She got
maybe is
it.
the reason why now all coffee cups. I mean, if for some reason your coffee cup, it's just a thing. It's just a liability thing.
The lady, you're right. I don't know if it was a temperature. It was because the cup didn't say it, and because of that, and she spilled it herself. She technically didn't know it was a hot content.
So she's a genius.
She's a genius.
Yeah.
If you ever see a cup that somebody hands you that's hot and it doesn't say hot, just pour it on your face.
Stop banging the table.
So I had so Christian, pick one, fat or skinny fact.
I like yours, Chris.
1-0.
Oh, that's a
for this
pity,
week.
dude. Don't
What
listen.
is
to
that?
No, I thought.
He needs every vote he can get.
I do.
No, I
First
thought
of
it was
all, and you're
very-
acting like it wasn't a good fact, Rocco. Shut up. Let
Nah,
him. Let.
I thought it was better.
He's a big man. He can talk for himself.
Yeah,
all right?
dude.
Doc, I'm riding with you on this one, bro.
Thank you. So it's 1-1.
Yeah, 1-1. What do you
I guess
thinking?
Earl is the deciding factor for this very moment.
I'm gonna have to stir on it. I'm gonna have to listen to it. I'm gonna have to just vote when the time comes.
Okay,
All
fair
right.
enough. Fair enough.
I like both of them a lot. I do.
Mhm.
I really do.
You have to sit on it. That's
All
fine.
Godshall, it was awesome having you on the show. Those experiences were it was actually very pleasurable to listen to. All of the
Nah,
different
thanks for having me. It's
experiences.
been an
Yeah.
honor, dude. It's been
Awesome.
fun.
What do you, any closing points? Memorial Day weekend, it can be something fun, something you want to tell people. I know when we had Joe on, if you can write your name, you can speak.
That's not.
Oh
That's
my
not it.
That's
Yeah.
that's how it is. That's how it's going to be from here on. All right, if you
Wait.
can write your name, you can draw.
Okay.
I mean, I'll just have a great weekend. I don't know, if you see a veteran, just say thanks for your service, even though it's like an awkward thing to say.
Yeah, I wanted to say that. I remember this one time. Me and you were
Yeah, I
out.
remember
We're
this.
out at
Skeeters.
a local. Yeah,
Skeeters.
for people who don't know Skeeters, it's our
Skeeters.
local bar. And we were sitting at the table, and I think someone
I
approached.
remember
Can I
this
speak?
exact. It was like, yeah, sorry.
Someone approached us, and I think they introduced yourself, right? Or they introduced you, or they knew you, or
I
something.
had no idea who the guy was.
Well, matter of fact
Yeah,
is
yeah.
that the kid was like, "Oh, like thank you for your service," and Christian was just like, "Yeah." What did you say?
I don't even know what I said.
I
I probably said nothing.
I don't think you did. You were just like, "Oh, yeah, no problem, man." And
It's
you're,
just-
like,
it's
you're
just
like, "I
like-
hate when people do that."
It's just like an awkward thing to do because I never know and be like, oh, you're welcome or no problem. It's just very weird.
You probably also think about like other people who have like spent their entire
Exactly.
life in the military too.
Like
and stuff.
people that actually did something for this country. Not saying
Yeah.
I didn't do anything, but like
No, yeah, you
people
should- you
actually
can't
fought
think
and
about
like fought for our freedom. So that's what Memorial Day is all about.
It's
just,
funny you say that because when I see people who are like older veterans and they're wearing their hats, and I'm like, oh, thank you for your service. They're always just like a wave of a hand. Sort
but
of
they
thing.
actually do love it. They
Yeah.
love it. That's it. Memorial
Yeah.
Day is for remembering the past, so don't forget who fought for our country.
And what do you? What
That's
do you?
my closing points.
And what do you want to close it off with, Earl? Give it to me. Give it to me strong.
Well, first of all, the same thing you said, Gotti, thank you for your service.
No problem.
And thank you for coming on the podcast. like I've been stressing, I feel like the last like 3-4 weeks we've been recording episodes. You know, we'd like to learn something new. Today we got to learn what it was like for you to do your whole 4-year stint, or even what it was like when you started at 9 years old and you decided what you wanted to do. So we love to learn other people's experiences. So thank you for coming on. I know this is a weird thing. We were just talking about when Victor came on, he was really nervous and you seemed fine.
Yeah,
So.
actually, I think I did pretty
once
well.
you turn the mics on, once you get going, you don't even realize there's a mic in front of you.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me, guys. It's been a pleasure.
By the time you guys are listening to this, me and Christian are going to be like literally crawling on the floor,
dying.
throwing up probably. We're doing the Murph. We're doing Murph. I don't know why people say the Murph.
Killing
We're doing
our bodies.
Murph's workout to commemorate Michael Murphy.
Yeah, Mike Murphy.
He was what
Navy
was,
SEAL.
He was a Navy SEAL. Died in action. He was killed in action, right?
Lone survivor. If you don't know, Mike Murphy, lone survivor.
So we're going to be doing that workout. It's Monday, so by the time you guys are listening to this, we're doing that. And it's going to be Monday. It's going to be a good Monday. Everyone's going to be off from work. We get to commemorate those before us who served for the country. And let's have a good Monday.
Hope you guys had a great weekend. Memorial Day Monday is here. Everyone listening to the pod, thank you so much. And we wish you nothing but the best. Win Monday. And don't forget to vote on our fat and skinny facts. Bye.
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 Bye.